Study Section 5. Description of consonant sounds. Introduction. Consonants and vowels constitute the phonemes of any language. Since we are dealing with English in this course, we will discuss the consonants and vowels of the English language. In this study section, we will be dealing mainly with consonants, but we also need to know that there are consonants and vowels letters as well as sounds. Letters deal with orthography, which is writing, while sounds relate to speaking. Do not confuse the consonants and vowels we will discuss from now on with letters, which you are more used to. Henceforth, we'll be discussing the consonants and vowel sounds, not letters. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this section, you should be able to distinguish between the consonant sounds and the vowel sounds. State the parameters by which consonant sounds are described and why. Exemplify the manners of articulation of English sounds. Explain the difference between oral and nasal sounds. Pronounce consonant sounds. Identifying consonant and vowel sounds. English sounds can be divided into the broad categories of consonants and vowels. Consonant sounds are produced with a total or partial blockage of the air stream used in its production at some point in the vocal tract. So produce B, as we have in Bible, there is a total blockage of the air stream at the lips, technically called labials. This accounts for why it is easy to name consonant sounds after the places of articulation, because you can indicate the specific points at which the blockages occur. Now produce E, as we have in pen. Is there any blockage in its production? Vowel sounds are produced with the free passage of the air stream, with no radical obstruction at any point. There is no blockage in their production, so the air can move easily. They are therefore not easy to describe based on the particular place of articulation. This is because you cannot feel the organs articulating against each other, and no obstruction is done to the air stream used in the production of vowels. How are vowels described then? Vowels are described based on A, the height of the hump of the tongue, high, mid, low. B, the shape of the lips, spread, neutral, round. C, whether or not the mouth is closed or open, open, half open, close, half close. D, whether or not the sound is front, mid, or back. Tip: when air is blocked by a speech organ, a consonant is produced. When no organ blocks the air and it flows out freely, a vowel is produced. Differences between vowels and consonants. Unlike consonants that are produced with radical obstruction in the oral cavity, vowels are produced with no such obstruction. With consonants, there is often one form of obstruction or the other, though the impact may differ from one type to another. In the case of vowels, however, all are produced with open approximation. None of the articulators come from very close together in their production, so the passage of the air stream is considerably always unobstructed. Hence, we shall start our discussion of the English consonant sounds now. We'll come back to vowels later. Parameters for describing English consonant sounds. There are the 24 consonant sounds in English. They are described based on 3 parameters, which are state of the glottis, places of articulation, manner of articulation. Stop. We have bilabia, B. B. Labiodental, interdental, alveolar. T. D. Alveolar palatal, palatal, velar. K. G. Glottal, fricative. F. V. Underlabiodental, interdental, theta, and small t. Alveolar. S. Z. Alveolar palatal, long S and G. Glottal. H. Affricate, alveolar palatal, Ch and G. Nasal. M. Alveolar. N. Velar. Ing. Lateral approximants. High. Retroflex approximants. I. Glide. M. W. Palatal. J. State of the glottis: voiceless, voiced. State of the glottis. The glottis could take up to 5 different states. However, in our discussion of English sounds, 2 states are relevant, so we shall only be discussing these 2 states, which are the voiceless state of the glottis and the voiced state of the glottis. Let us discuss how these 2 states are achieved and how they are used to describe English sounds. Earlier, we mentioned 2 elastic tissues located in the larynx, referred to as the vocal cords or vocal folds. Remember, the passage between them is called glottis. In the production of voiceless sounds, the vocal cords will be resting apart. Therefore, the airstream could pass through freely without the vocal cords vibrating. Sounds produced with this state of the glottis are said to be voiceless. However, in the production of voice sounds, the 2 vocal cords will be holding on loosely to one another, such that the airstream has to force himself through the vocal cords. Since the vocal cords, are elastic, they give way intermittently and therefore vibrate as a sound is produced. Sounds produced with this state of the glottis are said to be voiced. Tip: when vocal cords close and air has to pierce forcefully through them, a voice sound is produced. When the vocal cords are wide apart and air passes freely through the open glottis, a voiceless sound is produced. Place of articulation. The place of articulation states where the sound is produced. It names where the radical obstruction occurs when an English consonant sound is produced. Now, let us look at some places of articulation of English consonant sounds. We are starting with bilabial sounds. Bilabial sounds. These are sounds that are produced with 2 lips in contact with one another. This implies that the radical obstruction occurs at the point where the 2 lips meet. Produce the following words as you have them in the words: bank, pan, man, b, p, m. The initial sounds are bilabial. Labiodental sounds. Labiodental sounds is a combination of the words lips and teeth. Don't forget that labia means lips and dental means teeth. With labiodental sounds, we have the radical obstruction occurring at the point where the upper teeth make contact with the lower lips. F, V are labiodental sounds. Pronounce the words fine and vine. The initial sound of each word is a labiodental sound. F is voiceless, while V is voiced. Do not forget that a voiceless sound is one produced with the glottis open and vocal cords apart, while voice sounds are produced with the glottis modified by the vocal cords in a manner that vibration occurs as the air passes through them. Dental sounds. Do not forget, dental means teeth. In the production of dental sounds, the teeth makes contact with the blade of the tongue, as you have in the words teeth. There. The are dental sounds. Dental sounds should be practiced with seriousness by Nigerian learners of English because it is a problematic sound for many. To practice this sound, place the blade of your tongue against the upper teeth and blow some air. Without adding voice, you will produce O. When voice is added, you will produce the. Alveolar sound. The alveolar ridge is the teeth ridge, the hollow space after the upper teeth. In the production of alveolar sounds, the radical obstruction occurs at the alveolar ridge, where the tongue articulates against the ridge. English alveolar sounds are S, Z, T, R, L. Palatal sound. The hard palate is located after the alveolar ridge. J. The palatal sound is produced with the tongue articulating against the hard palate. The J sound is found in words such as university, year, you, younger. Velar sound. The velum or soft palate is located after the hard palate. Velar sounds are produced with the back of the tongue articulating against the velum. Examples of words with velar sounds are king, go, sing. The velar sounds are K, G, ing. Glottal sound. The glottis, as we have discussed, is the passage between the vocal cords. The glottal sound is produced in the glottis. Examples of words with the English glottal sounds H are house, ahead, hot. The English glottal sound is H. Alveolar palatal sounds. As the term suggests, English alveolar palatal sounds are produced with the body of the tongue articulating against the alveolar ridge and the hard palate at the same time. They are ish, as we have in words such as match, plow, church, judge. Manners of articulation. As earlier discussed, the three parameters by which consonant sounds are described are the state of the glottis, place of articulation, and manner of articulation. The previous section discussed the state of the glottis as well as the place of articulation. In this section, we will discuss the manners of articulation of English sounds. Manners of articulation as a parameter for describing English sounds discuss how the merging note, manner of articulation, how the air is expelled, sounds are produced, as opposed to places of articulation, which discusses where sounds are produced. Now let us look at how English consonant sounds are produced. This is very relevant and general to other languages too, but our emphasis on the English language since the course under discussion is English phonetics and phonology. Do you still remember that the pulmonic egressive airstream is the body of air used in the production of English sounds? When the pulmonic egressive airstream gets into the oral cavity, it may be totally obstructed, partially obstructed, or flow freely out of the mouth. The nature of the obstruction is what is called the manner of articulation for a sound. Different sounds have different manners of articulation. The manner has to do with how the sounds are produced. The organs in the course of producing the sound may close totally and open suddenly, plosives. They may close totally and then release slowly, affricates. They may be partially closed, such that the air could pass through with little force, causing friction, fricatives. They may be open at the center, while the sides are free for air to pass through, lateral. The body of air may pass through the mouth passage, oral. The body of air may pass through the nasal cavity, nasal, or there is a stricture of free passage close to the one experienced in the production of vowel sounds, semivowels. We shall sometimes refer to the various manners discussed above as strictures. There are different strictures, as you could see from the earlier explanation or manner of articulation. Complete closure followed by a sudden release. Sounds produced in this manner are called plosives. In the production of a plosive, there will be complete closure of the organs at a point. Then the closure will be suddenly released, sounding like a mini bomb. The English plosive sounds are P, B, T, D, K, G. Examples of words with such sounds are mat, pray, king, ground, big. Complete closure followed by a slow release. Sounds produced with this manner of articulation are called affricates. In the production of affricates, there is a complete closure of the organs of speech at a point. Then the closure is gradually and slowly released. The English affricate sounds are ch, j. Examples of words with such sounds are church, challenge, judge, gist. Partial closure resulting in a slow continuous sound. Sounds produced with this manner of articulation are called fricatives. While producing fricatives, the organs of speech involved are very close, but there will not be total closure such that air can pass through, but with friction and a hissing sound. The English fricative sounds are F, V, S, Z, H. Examples of words with sounds Examples of words with such sounds are teeth, this, 5, size, she, seizure, at. Closure at the center while air passes freely by the sides. Sounds produced with this stricture are called lateral. The only lateral sound in the English language is I, as in the words little, allay. Open approximation. Sounds produced with open approximation have a free passage of air. This is very similar to that of vowel sounds, where there is no form of radical obstruction. Consonants produced in this manner are called semivowels or glides. English W and J are examples of semivowels or glides. They are phonetically similar to vowel, but they function as the syllable boundary rather than as the nucleus of a syllable. Partial closure at the center accompanied by vibrations between the articulator and the place of articulation. Sounds produced with this manner of articulation are called trill. English R is a consonant sound produced by vibrations between the blade of the tongue and the alveolar ridge. Nasal and oral sounds. Sounds are also generally divided into nasal and oral groups. Some sounds are produced with the velum lowered and a free passage of air through the nasal cavity. Such sounds are called nasal sounds. There are 3 of such sounds in English, and they are all automatically voiced. These are M, N, ing. Oral sounds, on the other hand, are produced with the velum raised and a blockage of the nasal cavity, such that the air passes through the oral. All other English sounds apart from M, N, ing are oral sounds. Examples of such sounds are P, B, T, D, K, G, S, Z, F, V. All English vowels are oral sounds. Descriptions of consonants. Now let us go through a description of the consonant sounds of English based on the 3 parameters we discussed: state of the glottis, place of articulation, and manner of articulation. M. Bilabial nasal. Man. Transcribed. P. Voiceless bilabial plosive. Pan. B. Voiced bilabial plosive. Ban. F. Voiceless labiodental fricative. 5. V. Voiced labiodental fricative. Van. Theta. Voiceless dental fricative. Teeth. G. Voiced dental fricative. Bith. S. Voiceless alveolar fricative. Sin. Z. Voiced alveolar fricative. Z. T. Voiceless alveolar plosive. Tin. D. Voiced alveolar plosive. Dense. L. Alveolar lateral. Late. R. Alveolar trio. River. N. Alveolar nasal. Ness. Sh. Voiceless palato alveolar fricative. Shame. J. Voiced palato alveolar fricative. Television. Ch. Voiceless palato alveolar affricate. Church. J. Voiced palato alveolar affricates. Judge. K. Voiceless velar plosive. Make. G. Voice velar plosive. Game. Ing. Velar nasal. Sink. H. Voiceless glottal fricative. House. J. Palatal semivowel. Yes. W. Labiovelar semivowel. Wet. You must have noticed that the nasals and semivowels are not described in terms of voice. This is because all nasal and semivowel sounds are automatically voiced. Therefore, the moment you claim a sound is nasal or semivowel in English, it is known to be voiced, which means it does not contrast with any other sounds in terms of voice. Study section summary. In this study section, we discussed the differences between vowel and consonant sounds. We also discussed the 3 parameters by which consonant sounds are described as state of the glottis, state of articulation, and manner of articulation. We, however, discussed in details only the state of the glottis and the place of articulation. End of study section 5. Thanks for listening.